Hello, people. What are we doing today? Can you hear me okay? All right, hold on. Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Yeah. Are you hearing
Hearing
me,
you,
guys?
sir.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
All right, cool. Okay, welcome. So we did say that we would have a full 2 hour class today, right? Cause you don't have a thing there tomorrow. You don't have a deadline tomorrow. That's what we
Oh,
said, right?
no, sir.
Oh, it was the opposite of that,
Yes.
right? All right, cool. All right. Okay, guys, welcome. How is your preparation for your interim going? Who here is fully ready? Nobody? All right, who here is 50% ready? 20% ready?
So they're about 30% ready. 30, 40, 40%. Yeah.
They're around them there.
All right, guys. All right, all right. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're just going to have a short lecture. You do have a class activity, which of course you're not necessarily going to do in class. But you would need to ready that up for me for Saturday class. All right, guys? Because we're not going to do it in class. I'm gonna trust that you guys can do it on your own. Um, it should be like fairly, I think, a simple task. Hopefully a little bit fun, not too difficult. All right. So what we're going to look at, we're going to touch a little bit. We're going to look at assignment 4. We're going to touch on AI a little bit, and um we're not going to deep dive in assignment 4. We'll do that on Saturday, right? By the way, that class will be very critical because we're actually going to take some of the techniques that we learned about for the film, and we're going to apply them in 3D in 3D rendering, right? So we're going to be using I'm going to be using Twinmotion as the demonstration tool, but you guys can follow along in Lumion or Twinmotion or whichever program that you choose, right? All right. So, firstly, let's touch back a little bit on this thing here. All right, guys, I have a video to show you. If I can find it. Audio check.
Everyone's read the perspective.
Did you hear that audio directly through the presentation? Or did you hear it through the mic?
Through the mic.
Okay, I need to do it in, I think I need to do it in Firefox. Let's try it this way.
Everyone's
Yeah, now you're hearing it. All right, cool. All right, so guys, check this out. Oh, hold on. I could just download it. Yeah, I don't have to show it in the browser. Um, yeah, I can just show it in. Yeah, see, of course. Oh, oh, right. Okay. There we go. Audio.
I trust everyone's read the
Full screen. Okay, guys. So check this out. Guys,
No, sir, that's the first time I'm seeing it.
first time seeing it. Okay. All right. So, Marissa, what's happening here in this ad?
Sir, I honestly don't get the like points that they're
Okay.
trying to bring up because
Okay.
at the end it said the Apple Intelligence and stuff, and yeah, I didn't get it.
Okay, cool. Uh, Anybody else? Anybody got it?
Yeah, they were advertising something like a summarizing tool on Mac.
Right. So how did it start out? What was the meeting about?
Perspectives.
Prospectus, right? So a prospectus is like a project. It's more of a fancy name in the corporate world. So imagine I gave you a project like, I don't know, like an assignment. That's what but a prospectus is main is, it's kind of like an overview on a particular topic. So obviously, the ad because it kind of flaunts in our faces the whole way that AI is used. It's kind of like, oh, I have a secret weapon, blah blah blah. And a couple of weeks ago, we started to look on just a general introduction to it. Today, I'm hoping that we can get through a little bit a little bit of it for our class activity. So I wanted to just continue on that discussion about AI. I want to show you guys. You guys have studio presentations, right? That was this ad here. And in your presentations, I would hope that, where are we? Right. I would hope that in your presentations, you create a script when you present, right? So, Shanae, are you here, Shanae? Not Shani, Shanae.
Sir?
The last studio presentation that you made, this is for the presentation. How did you prepare for your presentation? Did you write a script? Did you do bullet points? How did you do it?
I just wrote down. It's like bullet points. The bullet points. So I know the order of how I present.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I figure we all do kind of bullet points. And what I want to kind of show today in the second part of AI, hopefully we can get wrapped up in an hour. I'll do the best as I can. Is I want to show you guys a little bit of how do you go about using the AI to help you. Now we are going to use it in assignment 4 as it relates to images, and a lot of us know that AI is great for images, but it's also good for text. But it is also very easy to, what's the word? To um, underuse. I think that's the best way to put it, to underuse. Because the way that it's advertised is kind of like the snap of a finger, it can do everything for you. And what I want to show you two methods here of how you can use it, especially in your presentations, and we're going to use it in assignment 4. All right, so what I have here a project which I worked on about a year ago, right? This was a concept, wasn't it? It's not an actual project. And you can kind of see the idea here. I have two villas, a basketball court, could be a tennis court, whatever court, a roadway parking, and your two villas here. This was the idea for the villa. The idea is that the ocean is here and you can see straight through the villa. This is a diagrammatic plan. Um, this is a kind of a bubble plan. It's not a bubble, but a square, kind of a layout. And this is the two villas side by side. So in one, it's just a box representing the position. And then here, we have a more detailed look at the villa. There's like a balcony, a bedroom, dining. You enter here. You also can enter here under the balcony, right? Now, we're not going to go into the details of it, right? But what I want to show you is this is the kind of things that maybe we would do in a Descript, which is the same thing that you do in the working world when you're trying to figure out a concept. You create these diagrams and so forth. And we could call this concept design, touching a little bit on schematic design, but it's conceptual. And then we would take time to refine the design. And in some cases, we would do 3D and maybe some sketches and things like that. So in this case, I did do a kind of a 3D version. I call it a 3D sketch. It's not based on like detail BIM or BIM drawings or construction drawings. This is really just a 3D sketch that was done in SketchUp, literally push and pull. And this is what my concept would feel like, at least for one of the villas. Now, at the end of this, I need to communicate this to, in this case, the client. So I am technically doing the same thing that you guys would do. Like, you need to present the work. And not all the time presenting really requires like high-end rendering and animation. Sometimes it's good enough to kind of just show your concepts and ideas like this. But like any presentation, it's a good idea to bullet point what you're going to talk about. And what you will find in architecture, especially when you work out a design, is that there is a lot to talk about, right? And usually you have very little time to do it. So this example that I'm showing you here, when I want to give an idea or a method for if you want to use AI to assist you with your script or a good way to explain your concept. And it is not as simple as my friend here in the video where he just pressed 2 buttons and it was like he was ready with the prospectus. The way how the secret weapon to how you would use AI is to have the human element. So human plus AI equal superhuman. AI alone, you're just going to be very flat, very generic. The way that AI works, whether it's with images or with text or anything, is that it feeds off of information. The more information you give it, you get 10x the information out of it. This is why if you give it little to no information, it can give you something. But imagine if you gave it proper information, what could it give you? So what we're doing here is a little test. And a good method to using any AI system to assist with formalizing your thoughts, right? You have a lot of ideas. Let's say you want to, you need to communicate your idea. A good way that you can use it is to put it in these categories. And it's called task, context, example. or exemplar, persona, format, and tone. Pretty much all AI, whether it's ChatGPT or Perplexity or I can't keep up with all of them now. They're like so much, but using this kind of formula can greatly help, especially when you want to filter your thoughts. It's not something that is illegal and you shouldn't necessarily use. Yes, just like all things, you can abuse it. I mean, when I was in school, Google was just a thing coming out, and all of a sudden, nobody had to go to the library anymore, and you could just Google something. And of course, you could just Google something and just copy and paste it in your document and submit it. But then eventually, we realized that that doesn't really work, right? Because it's easy to spot most times. And it's the same kind of revolution that we're going through now. So the reason I'm showing you this example here, right, is whenever you want to use any kind of AI system to help to formalize your thoughts, the way that you speak to it should be in these categories. Now, notice that some of this says mandatory. So the task, what do you want it to do? So in our example here, what I've done here is this: I have written out everything that I think are the most important things about this idea that I have here. Everything. And I've just written it down in maybe the worst possible way ever. I just wrote down my thoughts on this project that I designed. I didn't put them in any order. I just write down what came to my mind. So for example, my design is a two-story villa opposite to each other with an entrance between the villa. The site features a roundabout with a decorative signage, an adjacent basketball court for recreation. Across from the court is parking. One of the key features of the project is the entrance up. Basically, this is I have written this as if a classmate asked me, "What is your project about?" And I would just talk. No, that is not the way you present, obviously. When you're presenting, you have to be very concise, right? I don't know. Justin, have you ever presented and find yourself running way beyond the time that you're supposed to present? You've done this for what, 4 years now? Almost 4 years?
Yes, sir. Most times.
And this is why we have bullet points, because bullet points help us to keep on track. Now, what I'm giving you here is an idea, and this is like, you could call this like an experiment. We're going to look on two of them, but we're only going to do one. This one I'm giving you as a tip. So, as I'm writing out this long, highfalutin paragraph, across from the court is where was I? As you approach the entrance steps, the ocean the ocean and the view reveals itself as you proceed up the steps towards the entrance. The building is a mix of contemporary Caribbean with a few brutalist elements. Each unit features large windows overlooking the ocean front, along with two additional balconies. The unit design is based on a central axis that has direct line of sight from the building to the back, which overlooks the ocean, and the rooms are located to the left and right of this axis line. Like everything I'm saying here now, you can kind of see it in my diagrams, but I'm just saying it out loud, right? Each unit features two swimming pools, one for adults, one for kids, with a deck between them. The building is constructed primarily from block and steel with decks and trellis made of wood. The structure of the communal deck overlooks the ocean, is made from reinforced concrete beams to withstand hurricane force winds. Right. So all of this is me just explaining. Now, what I want to do is present this in a concise way. So if I use this format where I want to give the AI a task, I want to give it a context, I want to give it an example, a persona, and a format in which I can use. And I want it to determine the tone at which it should be presented. So a good example is when you say persona, it is, in this case, who are you? You're a senior product manager at Apple. Then you want to give it some context, right? You have just unveiled the latest Apple product in collaboration with Tesla, the Apple car and blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. That's the context. What is the task? You want it to write an email for you. In this case, it's an email. And then what's the example? In this case, the email should include not too long to read, project background, blah, blah, blah. What's the tone? Clear and concise language in a confident yet friendly tone. Now, let's apply this to this idea that I want to get across. So, for my persona, I'm going to make it up. This is where imagination comes in. I am a world-renowned architect. I am a architecture student. I'm a dog. I'm a cat. Whatever. I'm an alien from outer space. Give it something. Here's the key thing about what we wrote. All of that I said a while ago is the context. Everything about my building. Then write me a script to use in my presentation and structure in bullet form. Now here is the example, which is key. I want it under the headings. And this is what I mean by human plus AI. You as the human, you have written out your thoughts. Now, for example, Alison, what do you think would happen if I just put in ChatGPT or one of them? Write me a presentation for my building. What do you think it would do? Are you here, Alison? No? All right, she's running to the mic. Haven't made it here yet. Ashley.
Sir, ChatGPT would kind of just give you an overall rundown of like any presentation. It wouldn't be specific to yours. It'd be like you'd start with an introduction, and then you say something nice like a hook sentence, and then you have a
Right.
body and conclusion, but it wouldn't be specific to your presentation.
Exactly. And I think one of the yes, Alison, I see your response. I think one of the misconceptions now, especially when it comes to AI, is that I don't think it's everywhere. Like literally everybody is talking about it. Don't be surprised if Digicel or Flow say, "Oh, presenting the new AI, whatever," that can automatically put credit on your phone or whatever. I think that the education of how to use AI is probably one of the most critical things that we need to look at nowadays, right? Because the way that it's marketed and the way that you use it for it to be usable is like two different things, right? So in this case, I, the human, has given the AI something to work with. Now, I could spend the next 2 hours trying to decide, okay, should I talk about the entrance first, or what about the concept? Maybe I can talk about this and then I go into that. How should I phrase it? I don't want to make it look like this is too important or not important enough. Like these are the things that your mind go through when you're trying to refine your thoughts. And this is where the AI tools can help you out a lot. So for example, I already know how I want to structure my presentation. I want to structure my presentation under overview, site context, design objectives, concept statement, design process, key design features. I think that's important. Building systems and the structure, and then maybe a summary. So a lot of times we kind of know the overall topics that we want to cover, and we can explain our building to somebody else. We can explain our design to somebody else. But when you have to now filter, summarize, and decide how do you phrase the information under each topic, this is where the AI can help you out. So what I've done here is I've used this concept and I've written out everything about my building, and I want to just grab all of this and I want to just drop it in ChatGPT here. And yep, it's going to take a while. Usually the good prompts do take a while to process. And then I have some nice bullet points here. Okay, so I have project overview. The project features 2 villas placed opposite each other. The development is a curated lifestyle experience, da da da. Now, when you get these, right away, you have something to work with. This that you get here isn't necessarily the solution to your problem. There's a kind of a back and forth process that you usually do when you're using a tool, right? Because the AI is a tool. It's not like it will just do everything for you. So what this have done now, it has helped me, and it's still calculating. It is helping me to structure my thoughts under these topics. Because remember what I had originally was one big long paragraph, different things. I'm talking about multiple different things. They could fall under various types of topics. But I gave it the topics that I wanted to fall under, and then I gave it the things I wanted to talk about, right? So now when I get these, then now I take this, and usually I recommend maybe using a digital notebook. This is where OneNote comes back into play. In this case, I'm just going to use Mirrorboard because I'm presenting here. And if I paste this here, so this was my original, copy that there. And then this is here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter. Okay, the site is situated on a sloping oceanfront property with expansive, uninterrupted views of the sea. The natural terrain rises gently towards the entrance of the villa, steeping, da, da, da. The arrival sequence involved. So all of this falls under site and context. And then what your task now is about is filtering. What do I want to include, or what do I want to leave out? And that is a much more faster task than if you were trying to decide how do I phrase certain things. It has already phrased it for me. I just need to pick and choose what I want to keep. All right, guys, so this is the first kind of tip with AI. And I want to just touch on this just a little bit, that this is kind of where we're coming from. Where we are coming from Google plus human. So we might do a Google search, the history of architecture in the Caribbean. And the wrong way to do this would be to just, I found a nice article from, I don't know, ABC Adventures.com. And I'm just going to copy and paste it and then submit this work. And I think over the years we have evolved past that. Because what happened is that because if everybody copies and pastes, then obviously you won't stand out. Apart from that, you can be discovered that you copy and pasting. So the accepted kind of norm is okay, it's Google plus human. When I say Google, I mean Google search, right? And when I say Google search, I don't necessarily mean with Google, but the fact that you just search online for information. So what you do now is that, okay, you look at Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, and then you summarize them. Maybe you have a digital notebook or a Google Docs file where you paste all of your information in. Where am I? I'm here, right. And then what you do, you decide, oh, this is important in this article, and I'm going to make this, right? What you say, Nelson? You understand what I'm saying? This is something that you would have done already, right, Nelson? Mhm. Come on now.
Sir, I didn't know which Nelson you were talking.
Oh, sorry. I keep doing that. Right. So come on now. You have done this process already, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Hopefully not the copy and paste one. You do the one where you go through the different sources, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm trying to say now, guys, is that it's kind of the same thing, but now you have another tool. So yes, you have AI, and you could just tell the AI, write me a 3-paragraph essay about the history of architecture in the Caribbean. You know, it's the same thing as typing that in Google and then hoping you get lucky by finding something. You can do that with AI as well. And it will write something that sounds maybe okay, might be a little generic, but if Kimona asks ChatGPT to write our essay, and the other Nelson now, right, Daniel, and Daniel say, you know what, I'm going to write out the essay. I may not formulate my thoughts exactly, but I'm going to write it the best I can. Then I'm going to ask ChatGPT to help me, right? While I'm doing it, while I'm writing it out, I'm going to also look up some sources from Google or whatever. Which one of the Nelson's essay do you think will sound better? That's an easy one, right, guys?
My answer.
Oh, keep on. I'm not bad mouthing you. I'm just using you as an example. All right. It's a
Yes, sir.
highfalutin example. But so the point I'm trying to get at, guys, is that especially now that you guys are at the end of your journey, right? This thing is going to revolutionize everything. And I think that knowing a bit of how to use it, one of the fundamental ways in which you use it is to inject the human element in there. And then whatever you inject becomes times 10, times 100. So if you inject 1%, you will only get 10% out. But imagine if you inject 50%, you get an exponential output. So I want to encourage you that whichever tools you use, don't forget to include the human element in there, and you will get 10 times the output than if you just copy and paste. So what we're going to do is we are going to try this out. I'm hoping that you guys have the brain space to test this out. It's going to be really simple. I think we can do it. What time is it? I think we can do it here in class. We're not going to do a word one. That was just bonus for you guys. All right. I know that you have crit coming up, and I know that a lot of us have our thoughts that we write down and we're trying to filter them. I'm just giving you tools that can help. For our assignment 4, you guys were given a building. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? We are. Yes, here, right. So everyone selected a building, right? And this is what you used to do your assignment 2, right? Now for assignment 4, you are going to reuse this building. But I need something from you for Saturday. What I need from you, I need an environment around this building. Now, it can be really simple. I don't need um, a full city or anything like that. What I want is these build for us to do our work on Saturday. I'm going to need you to place these buildings in some kind of environment. Now, what I want you to do is the environment that you're going to give me, you are going to just create that environment. You just make it up, right? You can use a combination of models that you download from Google Warehouse or wherever, right? Just make up that environment because we're going to be doing camera angles and looking at some of these things using the program, whichever program you choose. I'm going to be using Twinmotion. You guys can use whatever program you choose. All right, guys? Now, in order to generate the environment, I want us to try out generating a concept, and then we use that concept when creating the environment. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so let's use, for example, my building. Let me try and open that here. I can get this guy off the screen now. You have done your time. All right. All right. All right. So, where are we? Where are we? Here we are. So I have given you the SketchUp files for these buildings. Um, I'm looking for mine. There we go. Yes, here we go. Um, all right. So this is my building. Um, did I save it like this? Here we go. Right. This is my building. Now, you guys have your own buildings. Which are these here. Let's go over here. Right. Here go the buildings. And then you have these SketchUp files. So when you open the SketchUp files, they should look something like this, right? Now, what I want us to investigate is I want you to generate a image using your building. And this is a conceptual image. And you're going to use that as a guide for when you're creating your environment, right? Now, as I said, your environment can be whatever you want it to be, right? I just need I need it to be like human and normal. I don't want anything on the moon or underwater or floating islands in space, preferably not. Give me something that is possible, right? Right, Jerome? You understand what I mean? Are you here, Jerome?
Could you repeat, sir?
I'm saying, when you give me the environment, give me something that is down to earth, literally, right? So I don't want a recreation of Narnia or a building in space or on the moon. You know what I mean? That's something relatively normal. Cool?
Okay, sir.
Right. Can be creative, but let's not push it too far. Now, what I want you to do is you're going to use an AI tool. I'm going to recommend which we use Chrome. You can try others if you want, but I don't want you to spend too much time fiddling about, because we do actually need you to have the environment. So I'm going to just do one demonstration here, right? Now, Chrome is free. At least it gives you free credits every month in order to use. This particular one now, we're going to be using the same formula that we just learned a while ago. And what is that formula? It is human plus the AI. Meaning, don't just say to the AI, generate a picture that I can use in my, to make up for my environment for advanced computing. I want you to give the AI something meaningful so that you can get 10 times more. We did that example with text. Now we're going to do one with images, right? So now, in order for this to work, what I recommend is that you take a view from your model. So in this case, this is my model. I'm not using one of yours. I've just kind of made up one. And in order for this to work, it's best that you do it as a sketch. Well, at least if you're using it with the Chrome AI. So, in order to do that, I would change the style to like a black and white line style. I would also get rid of these axes because the AI might read it and do some weird stuff with it. So I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to go to where do you go again? Here, right? Under modeling settings, and I'm going to turn off the axis. So all I end up with is this. Now here's the trick, guys. Your view will determine kind of what kind of image you get it. Remember, you can give me any environment that you want to use. So you can do a view from here. You can do an area view from this. Doesn't matter. You can make this up however you want to make it. So I'm going to do a view like this. Maybe like that. I'm going to use that 2-point perspective. Maybe like this. Yeah, I think that's good. Then I'm going to save this out. Export as 2D. I'm going to save this as an image. Now notice I'm saving it as a kind of a sketch view because I want to use it to help. I want to give it something so that when it recommends to me an environment I can use, it's something that that I can work with, right? So I'm going to save this as a JPEG. There you go. All right, now this time around, we're going to try out the Chrome tool. And remember, our objective is we want to generate a reference image that we want to use when we're creating our environment. That is our objective here, right? We want some ideas. We want AI to give us some ideas to use for our environment, because we can just make up whatever environment we want. So before we jump into the tool, so this is the tool here. As I said, the sign up for this one is free. I think one person had used this already. Who was it that used Chrome? Nobody?
I said I used it.
Ah. So now we're going to put it to the test. Like, it's actually required for part of an assignment in this case, right? Now, before we jump here, I want us to look at a little bit of understanding of how we go about using AI. So I'm going to jump back over here, and I want to show you this. Now, you remember how there is a method when we want to give it text to write, right? And this is a method that you can use to get the best results out. Now, it's the same kind of thing with images, right? In this case, when you talk about anything to do with design, things of that nature, this is another approach that you can use. Medium, subject, and environment. Medium is, for example, what format is the picture? Is it watercolor? Is it a photograph? Is it a rendering? Is it a semi-transparent thing? Like, what medium, what visual medium do you want it to produce it in? This one is the important part, the subject. And a good way that we can break that down in the architecture field, right? What is the building design? What is the style of it? What is the materiality? This is like I'm saying, I want the AI to show me this building in an environment that can inspire me to create that environment in 3D, right? But I have to describe to the AI how I want my building to be presented, and then it is going to create it for me. So for example, when I talk about the building, in this case, I have the building here. Oh, oops. Oh, where did you go, building? Here we go, right. In this case, I have the building here. So I kind of know what the building is shaped like, but how do I want it presented? You know, do I want it, what kind of materials do I want the AI to make up for this picture? Because the materials that I suggest will influence the environment in which it's presented in, right? What are some of the interior details here? Remember, we want to use this as a kind of a reference image. So we want it to be as creative as possible. And the last one is going to be the environment. Is it a rural image? Is it a countryside, urban? Is it nighttime? Is it daytime? Right? You can make up your own scenario. And then you put everything in a sentence. Now, when you put it in a sentence, you want to do it in this order. Talk about the medium, talk about the subject, talk about the environment. Did I put this on the mirror board? No, I'm going to put this on the mirror board so that you guys can have this. Here we go. Here we go. Right. So you're going to talk about it this way. Now, here is one of the interesting things about when you want to get something from AI. Yes, Alice, I see your message. No, this was from earlier. You never just send me a message, Alice. That's from earlier. There we go. Where's my mouse? Come on. Oh, this. Come on, mirror board. Let's go back to this too. There we go. Right. So I want you to use this method. Now, important, you have to structure your prompt as a sentence. That is important. You, unlike when you're searching for stuff on Google, when if you're looking for, if you are researching historical buildings that have gable roof designs, you usually use a kind of, you usually say it, historical buildings with gable roof. Like you always use a kind of shorthand way when you're searching in a search engine. But when you're searching with AI or when you're talking to AI, never do that. Always talk in full humanoid sentences, right? So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Chrome. I'm going to choose the AI tools, and I'm going to choose the tools that can turn a sketch into an image, right? And what I'm going to use is oops. Lower. These are some of the historical stuff that I have had here. Okay. All right. So in this case, I'm trying to get it in here for you. Right. So I say photorealistic stylized visualization using a wide angle lens. I even put the name of the lens of an ultra modern 2-story building, primarily made of white concrete, steel, and glass. The interiors features an open plan with a living kitchen area on the upper floor with hanging crystal pendants to illuminate the space. The building, I just throw this in just to make it interesting. The building has a W emblem on the building, and a tile mural of a red bird on the exterior, 3-story wall on the right side of the building. The steps leading to the upper floor are made of tempered glass with a steel structure. Again, I'm just having fun and throwing things at it. And the field is surrounded by coconut trees, lush mountains. In the far distance, the environment and lighting setting is a late evening with an orange dramatic sky. And when I did it, this is what I got. Now, the thing is, when you're doing this, because remember, what you're doing for me is the environment. We are going to do some renderings, but it's going to be primarily about the camera views. So this was a little tight when I did this test because I couldn't really see what's going on in the environment. I could get an idea, like there's a hedge here, there's some coconut trees in the background, but the main issue is that the image I used wasn't wide enough. So what I recommend is that, let me go back here. When you're getting the image from SketchUp, give it some space, like that, right? And maybe, am I not clicking? All right, this is giving me an error already. Anyway. All right, let's close this and open it back. There we go. Right. So what I would do in this case is I'm going to just leave this as is. Let's see what it will give me. I give it some space like this. So I have all of this space around it because the ratio of your image matters with the results that you want to get. So now I'm going to work with the, I'm going to overwrite this one on the desktop. So now I have an image with some wide white space. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to add image and I'm going to go to upload and I'm going to go to the desktop. I'm going to upload this image here. So notice this has a lot of space around it. Then I'm going to put back in the prompt, the same one that I used. So you guys need to make up your own prompt based on what I gave you on the mirror board, right? Remember, you want to inject your ideas into it in the order that I said. When I scroll down, you're going to choose which model. Now, these are just different versions of the model. Remember, we kind of spoke about model. Hopefully, you guys haven't forgotten. When we had our initial discussion about AI and we spoke about what is an AI model. The model is simply just a name for the software that runs. Just like how we say a phone has an app, we say an AI has a model, right? That's what it is. So version 3 is like saying Windows 12, so to speak, or Revit 2026. It's like the new version. The style, this is a particular style. You can choose between realistic, traditional, but this is under the category anime. So you can go to photography and you can choose a style. Now, even though it has humans here, it doesn't mean that. What these example is saying is that if you were doing a visual of a human, this is what it would look like. It will just interpret it for a building. So, of course, there is illustration, art. There's 3D. I'm going to choose photography and choose architectural rendering. For the scene, remember, you already gave it a description here, but you can kind of mix in a particular scene. So for example, if I go to landscape and choose like, I don't know, I'm just going to choose garden, right? But what you write here is, so it's what you write here, it's going to try to do that in a garden environment. This is the most trickiest thing to explain, right? And what this is saying is that this circle here with the glow inward means that it is going to preserve the exact shape of the model, and any kind of creativity it is going to do it within the shape of the model. So it's not going to change your building. But if you choose this one over here, it is going to keep your shape, but it's going to expand on it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, Maken. You get what I'm saying, Maken?
Yes.
So one of them, it can change your building, and the other one is going to try and keep your building, right? So you can try any one. Let's try this one where it keeps. In this case, it's your sketch, because your sketches of a building. And then your creativity, just the wildness of it. If you go all the way up, maybe pigs will fly. I don't know. Like, this just comes with practice. Now, every time, so when you do all of this, you choose generate, and it's going to use 0.3 out of your, I have 10. You get 10 every month. And every time you click generate, it will use 0.3. You get 10 free every month. If you run out, you can just make a new account. But of course, you will not keep all of your history. So right now, this is a history of everything that I've generated and all of that, which is good. All right, let me choose generate and let's see what we get now. You will see it running all three of these one time. Let's see what it comes up with. Who will give me a drum roll? No drum roll? Alison, you always give me the drum roll. Okay, also, in this free version that is being used, well, it's free for now. You know how these things go. I don't know if it will be free next semester. Who knows? It is not going to prioritize your work. Oh, wow. So what it's... so, okay, obviously it's taking a longer time than I anticipated. If you do it in the middle of the night, this will do much quicker. All right. While we wait on that, because apparently now it's very crowded. Remember, this is the free tier, so yeah. Now, for those of you who want to try other ones, this one is Midjourney. This is another one that you can use. But the thing, Midjourney is not free. I think the cheapest one is $10 per month, and you get a limited amount of tries. So let me see if I can at least give you one example before you go. So I'm going to upload same image. I'm going to use it here, and I'm going to paste back the same prompt as here, right? Using this image. Now, Midjourney is not as, remember we spoke about different types of AIs, so Midjourney is not trained or set up as for architecture as much as Chrome. Chrome is more tuned to architectural stuff and digital art, whereas Midjourney is like broad. So notice this option here where it says where it will keep the shape of your building. Midjourney doesn't really have that. So let's see what we get with Midjourney. And while we do that, great. Oh, right. Here it is. No, it's here. Okay, here we go. 33% complete. All right. This was from the last one, I think. Where's the date? Yeah, this was from the last one. This one is today. Now, so you see what Midjourney does, it actually kind of changes up your building. So yeah. Anyway, so this is what I want you guys to do for me. I want you to generate an image. Use that image to inspire what you create for the environment around your building, right? You have complete freedom to kind of create whatever you want, or you want to manipulate something that already exists. I just need you to put your building inside of it. When you come on Saturday, I want you to have a building and some kind of environment, and then we are going to go into we're going to go into the assignment 4. All right, now before you go, I should at least give you a preview of assignment 4, and it is really nothing special per se. Here it is. It is very similar to assignment 3, but this time it's the virtual camera. And this is where you're going to choose one of these buildings where you have already selected one of these buildings. And this time you're going to do 10 different camera movements. No, you're not going to do this yet, guys. I'm just showing this to you. We're going to kind of explore it together on Saturday. But this is essentially what the assignment is. The model must have a basic environment around the model. That is what you guys are going to work on You're going to work on for me this week. You're going to create a basic environment around the 3D model. It must have some kind of entourage, cars, whatever. And at minimum, it must have one object animated, preferably a car or a bicycle, pedestrian, or a person walking. Use any software you want. I recommend Twinmotion or Lumion. If you use D5, all the better. Anyone you want to use. Preferably a real-time software. But that's it today for class, guys. Any questions? Any questions, guys?
I'm not sure if you said it. You said how many images?
Say that part again?
I was asking you if how many images?
There isn't a limit. Just what happens when we come to class, you will share the image that you generated and you will also share the environment that you created, right? So if you wanted to use 3 images, I would say just use one. Just use one. Generate an image, use your building, generate an image, and try to create that environment in whatever program, right? Important. I'm not grading you on how accurate you created the image. So if your generated image has a coconut tree, has 3 coconut tree, and your image have 2 like it's not about that, guys. This is just giving you complete creative freedom for you to do whatever you want, but you must use AI in this to help. I want you to explore using AI to influence your design ideas, right? So you're going to show me your image and you're going to have your 3D scene. And then we're going to be using that as our sandbox to show you some techniques of how you can do these camera views. All right, guys? All right. So if there are no questions, that is it for class today. Good luck on your interim tomorrow. Remember, as soon as your interim finishes, work on your environment for Saturday. All right, guys?
Okay,
All
sir.
right, please
Bye.
also.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care.